Welcome, baseball fans, to Game 7 of the World Series. Yes, the 2019 baseball season is officially over, but we'd be remiss if we didn't cover what an exciting World Series this was. In Game 7, tied 3-3, everything's on the line. You've got Max Scherzer taking on Greinke. And I remember in the Game 6 review, I mentioned to you that between the two of them, I gave a slight edge on the pitching side to Scherzer. Meanwhile, and gave the overall win to the Nationals. As it turns out, Greinke actually had a superior performance over Scherzer. Now, whether it had to do with the reason why Scherzer was scratched on Friday with a neck issue, whether it was the extra days off, we'll get into that. But in Game 7, the Washington Nationals at Houston in Minute Maid Park, and they set an absolutely unprecedented tone. For the first time in all of Major League Baseball history, the road team wins every single game of the 7-game World Series. Never been done before. Wow. Also, for the first time ever in the 50-year history of the Washington Nationals, they win their very first championship. Congratulations, Washington. Congratulations. You've had an uphill battle. You started off the year in a horrible record. At the end of May, you are like 19 wins and something losses. You had a 1% chance of even making the playoffs. What do? You turn all the stats on their head, you plow forward, you have an extremely strong September, surging up the power rankings and making it into the playoffs. Granted, the late surge caused you to be behind a lot of our teams. You weren't even in the top 5 in power rankings at the end of the regular season. But you didn't let that phase you. You went in, you took care of the Milwaukee Brewers in a late inning comeback, and then you took care of the Dodgers. And we'll get into all of those, the path there when I do a recap of the bracket. But for purposes of Game 7, Washington 6 over Houston at 2. Max Scherzer goes 103 pitches over 5 innings, 3.60 ERA, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Surpassed by Greinke, putting in a masterful performance. 80 pitches, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 2.45 ERA, 2 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts. Talk about a man on a mission. Loses his first start and rebounds. Says, I'm going to put you all on my back and I'm going to carry you to the promised land. Not so fast. AJ Hinch puts the kibosh on that, and we'll get into that. To the bullpens here has been very much a similar story you've had when in Washington. The Washington Nationals bullpen lights out. Corbin, 3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, matching Max Scherzer's in strikeouts. Daniel Hudson goes an inning in the ninth inning, 0 earned runs, matches a couple strikeouts himself, and only goes 1 inning. Versus, Max Scherzer gets 3 strikeouts in 5, and Corbin gets 3 strikeouts in 3 innings. Hudson goes ahead and throws in 2 strikeouts in 1 inning. Phenomenal lights-out shutdown baseball by the bullpen, and a phenomenally gutsy performance by Max Scherzer. He did run into a pitch count problem. After he finished 5 innings, he was at 103 pitches. Considering the fact that he's coming back from an injury, they didn't want to push it, but he did put in a gutsy performance, and they really, really racked up his pitch count there. On the flip side, with Harris, Ozuna, Presley, Smith, and Urquidy, I apologize if I'm butchering his name, Jose, they are not quite as sharp. Greinke with 2 earned runs through 6 1/3. You're in the 7th inning. You don't have that much baseball left to close out here. You've got a 2-1 lead when Greinke leaves the game, and Harris gives up a run. Ozuna gives up a run. Smith gives up 2 runs, and Urquidy goes 0.2 thirds of an inning and gets 0 earned runs. So out of the batch here, Presley, who I've been giving a hard time throughout the playoffs, and matches Jose, they both give in 0 earned run performance. Jose goes 0.2, Presley goes 0.1. But what kills you here is that between Harris Ozuna, your closer of all people, and Smith, they gave up 4 runs. Granted, the last 2 by Smith were just sort of icing on the cake for the Nationals. They already had a 4-2 lead, and their pitching was not going to surrender that. However, giving respect to the lineup that the Houston Astros have, tacking on extra 2 doesn't hurt. But it does make it look like much more of a blowout than it really was in the overall scheme of things. Having said that, let's go ahead and get into the scoring. The Astros open it up with a home run in the second to tag Scherzer with his first earned run, and they tag Scherzer with his second earned run when Correa gets a single, Garrido scores, 2-0 Astros. And then they don't score the rest of the game. Now, granted, with a 2-0 lead, if your bullpen if Greinke can go longer and your bullpen is as maxed out as they were lights out as they were in Washington, you can hold on to a 2-0 lead and carry that to the promised land. However, the storylines I have for today's game, I normally put, if you look at my videos, my reviews, I usually have one storyline. The primary storyline encompasses the heart of the game and the spirit of the game. Because this is Game 7, I said, and because of the nature of the game, I went ahead and did 2 storylines. Because fundamentally, if you look at the way the game broke down, this was winnable by Houston. Their bullpen collapsed. They were overtaxed, and they just couldn't hold the lead. And against a grinded-out, never say die Washington lineup that in Washington, they couldn't buy a hit. Now in Houston, they're banging you up left and right. I blame that on a taxed bullpen that just collapses when it matters the most in Game 7, late in the game, when you have a lead. That's when you need your bullpen fresh, sharp, and ready to rock and roll the most, and they just couldn't get it done. On the flip side, it's not just the bullpen collapse. It was extremely clutch hitting by the Washington Nationals. Hence, clutch is as clutch gets. With in the 7th inning, Grandon, home run, boom, first score of the Washington Nationals, brings it to, cuts the lead in half, 1-2, and that chases Zach Greinke. Then Kendrick, 2-run bomb in the same inning. It's a 3-2 lead. All of a sudden, you go from beginning of the inning, you're down 2-0 to lead cut in half. Now it's 1-2. You leave the inning up 3-2, a 1-run lead, with a bullpen that's going to hold it for you. A phenomenal job. Wonderful work. Clutch hitting all the way, and you did it with a home run style. Extra flash, extra pizzazz, everything the fans love. Well, at least on the Washington side, and the home crowd not so thrilled about that. Then in the 8th inning, you have Soto single, driving in 2. In the 9th, you have Eaton, icing on the cake, single, drives in 2. 6-2 score at that point. And that late in the game, with the way that pitching's been going for Washington, it's game over Washington for Houston. Congratulations, Washington Nationals, on your World Series championship. The MVP goes to Steven Strasburg. Now, I made special note of this because with the wild card, you had to win 12 games. 1 in the wild card round, best of 5, so 3 games in the division series. Then you have 4 yet to win the NLCS. Then 4 in the World Series. 12 games you have to win to capture the World Series crown. And of 12, half of that would be 6. Steven Strasburg, they don't normally give MVP awards to pitchers. And when I was doing the Game 6 review, I was thinking, well, I could mention who has been the most dominant throughout the postseason, but they typically give it to some clutch hitter in Game 7, so I'm not going to go into the MVP. what they ended up doing is, despite the fact that Rendon, Soto, and company were clutch and were amazing and brought it home for Washington, they gave credit where credit was due, and Steven Strasburg becomes the first pitcher since 2014 when Madison Bumgarner single-handedly won 3 different games in the World Series alone. I mean, that was unprecedented. No pitcher has won 3 games in the same series. So obviously Madison Bumgarner going above and beyond the Call of Duty, driving it home, gets the World Series. No contest there. Steven Strasburg, who has won 5 games throughout the postseason, almost half of the Washington Nationals' 12 games, he single-handedly carries his team, does dominant performances, takes on the best of the best, defeats Verlander, and then he takes on, he beat Verlander twice? Yeah, he beats Verlander twice in this series. And then, of course, he dominates in his start against the Cardinals. He takes care of business against the Dodgers. And he was definitely a strong, dominant performance against the Brewers, helping them lock that down. I mean, he gave you everything you'd want for a pitcher. And with a 1.98 postseason ERA and 47 strikeouts, he absolutely defined MVP for the Washington Nationals in postseason play 2019. Well-deserved, well-earned. My hat's off to you, Steven Strasburg, and my hat's off to you, the Washington Nationals. You did a phenomenal job. You set a new precedent. You established history in both your team history winning their very first World Series championship, but also for the road team winning every single game. Plus, to top it all off, giving the MVP to a most deserving pitcher over the clutch hitting of your lineup that allowed Game 7 to become a reality for you. So, congratulations, well done. I'm looking forward to providing you an update of the bracket, update of the end of the 2019 season power rankings, then getting into all kinds of wonderful off-season news, managers moving around, players moving around, all kinds of fun stuff. So let me know what you think about what I think about Game 7, about the World Series as a whole, and the postseason. I would love to hear all about it and enjoy plenty of banter with all of you. If you just happen to come across this video on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you all for watching. It's been a phenomenal World Series. I've been thrilled to bring each and every game to you, and I'm looking forward to bringing you all the off-season coverage, your hiring and firings, your players moving around, free agents, hot stove, MVPs, awards, all that good stuff. Until then, have a great night. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.